Today's class is traditional yoga. So come to standing with your feet comfortably hip width apart while we think about warming up. And spread your feet. Just get good balance. Just slightly come forwards and backwards. And then just very slightly go from side to side. And then lift and roll the shoulders. Breathing in, turn your head to the left. Breathing out, turn your head to the right. Into the left. And out to the right. Come back to the centre. And just open your arms and hug yourself, bringing your chin forward to your chest. And it opens the upper back and stretches out the back of the neck. And if you just want to slightly sway from side to side, then please just feel free to do that. And then remembering which arm's on top, come up as you breathe in, open the arms and reverse so that the opposite arm is on top. And then just sway from side to side. And breathing in, come back upright, lifting and rolling the shoulders again. And then hold your left thigh with your left hand. What I call snake your right arm up by bringing the elbow in to get round any shoulder stiffness. Stretching the arm up and then just coming over to the left. It's a lateral stretch. It stretches all the way along the right side. Breathing in, press your feet down, stretch up, and breathing out, again snake the arm down. The other side, so the left arm now snakes up as you hold your right thigh. Coming over, chin into the chest. You can bounce in and out dynamically if that feels better. And then breathing in, press your feet down, stretch up, and breathing out. Lower the left arm. Lift and roll the shoulders. Let's open the chest, clasp the hands behind you, just lift them slightly away from your bottom and just turn slightly to the left. Come back to the centre and turn slightly to the right. And come back to the centre. Just aim the knuckles, your knuckles towards the ground to open you out even more and it extends your back bend almost into a back bend. And then just release the hands. And just shake the hands out, shake out any energy. And then just feet a little bit further apart, swirl your hips one way. Just moving the energy in the lower part of the body. And then swirl the hips the other way. You're also balancing your pelvis as you transfer the weight subtly from one foot to the other. And then just bring the feet again more towards hip width apart. Slide your hands down your legs to perhaps above your knees or wherever it works for you, and circle the knees in one direction. And then circle the knees in the other direction. Press your feet into the ground and roll up to standing again. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then lift one foot, one heel, circle the ankle one way, just opening up under the feet as well, and boosting circulation, as well as releasing the ankle joint itself. And then circle the ankle in the other way, or in the opposite direction. And then release, and then the other foot, just lifting, circling one way, and then circling the other way. And then just releasing. Just come to sway a little bit from side to side, just balancing all 5 energies in the body on the Ayurvedic. I'm on the Ayurvedic page now. And remembering that if you want to enhance this movement, you can become more wild and more vigorous, which I've just done on the blinds, making it a lot wider. And then just start to slow down and come to stillness. Feet hip width apart, lift and roll the shoulders, soften the knees and circle the arms up. Stretch your fingers, look up only if that suits your neck, and breathing out, circle the arms down. So you bend your elbows as much as you need to raise your arms, particularly if they're stiff. And breathing out, come down. Again, just stretch and down. Now this time, come to cactus arms. So you're widening across the chest, but not raising your arms so high. And then just breathing out, come down. And we're going to do that twice more to your own breath pattern. Out. And breathing in. Release. Lift and roll the shoulders. And then stepping forward with your left foot. Your right foot is at about 45 degrees. Just be comfortable. And if you feel that your balance isn't right, then move your left foot slightly wider. And then breathing in, soften the front left knee as you raise your hands to cactus arms. Lead with the chest and come to slide your hands down your front left leg, the front of your left leg to where it works for you. So ideally to the floor, relaxing the neck, but wherever it works. Breathing in, press your feet down, coming up. Breathing out, leading with the chest again. Relax the neck. And breathing out. And still keep your, what I call your stance, and then make a light fist with your left hand and just circle your arm forward. So you can keep a bend in the elbow if that's easier for you, or keep your arm straight. And your eyes are following your left thumb. So this becomes a neck, shoulder, and eye exercise, a mindfulness exercise. And it de-stresses the brain because as the eyes go up, they disconnect from the stress centers of the brain. So moving slowly. And then when you're ready, reverse your circle. So you come forward and go back. And just notice where your eyes jump and where your shoulder might be stiff. And then release. Lift and roll the shoulders and step the left foot back. And then come to step your right foot forward, and your left foot now goes out at about 45 degrees, or to be comfortable. And breathing in, cactus arms. Breathing out, lead with the chest. Use your hands as a support to come down as little or as much as you would like, relaxing the neck. Breathing in, press your feet down, and you can still use your hands to guide you up. Breathing out. Down, breathing in. This is a modified warrior pose, so it's strengthening for the bones. And as we come up, it's uplifting for the mood as we lift our arms and open the chest. And then drop your hands and make a light fist with your right hand, thumb extended. And the same again as you circle your arm forward, watching your thumb, your right thumb in this case. And then very gently reversing. You're stretching out under the arms too. So you're looking at the lymphatic system, the upper lymphatic system. And then lift and roll the shoulders. Step the foot back. And then we're going to come to a seated position. You can have your legs out in front of you. Just bounce your legs. And then just, I'm not sure it's the right word, bang your big toe joints together. Just connect your big toe joints together. This sets up a vibration in the body.
It's not a nice feeling.
So we'll move on from that very
sorry, it doesn't matter.
Toes up
for me.
Toes down. Toes up and toes down. Again, you're stretching the calves as you extend your toes up, and then the front of your feet which is again the upper lymphatic system as you stretch your toes down, and it's boosting circulation. And the heels extended as our DVT. And then just very gently going into circling the ankles one way. And then circling the ankles in the opposite direction. And then sit up. Just widen your legs slightly. You're supposed to extend your heels, but I think that's difficult to maintain. And then bend up your right knee and just lift your right foot off the floor. So this will encourage you to engage the lower abdominal muscles and straighten your back. And then a very relaxed opening the right knee out to the right. You can have a bolster or some support under your right thigh somewhere along the line. Extend your left toes. Just connect your fingers very lightly to the ground so it allows you to lengthen the body and slightly turn towards the outstretched left leg. You can be classic yoga, which is raising your arms up and then lead with the chest as you come forward, or you can just come forward with your chest to where it works for you. Your hands can be on your thigh, your hands can be either side of your thigh. You're stretching a long muscle from the hips up to the ribs, and it's called quadratus lumborum. And in lower or in back issues, this can often enjoy being just lightly stretched. So how much you want to stretch is entirely up to you. It's a modification, or it's a form of pose called Janu Sirsasana, which is head to knee pose. So you've got a slight opening here of the right hip, opening now of the lower lymphatic system. You're stretching that quadratus lumborum as well as other muscles. It's a forward bend, so calming for the nervous system. You get space at the back, so the breath has more chance to come into the back. Your breath will slow down, which it does when you calm your nervous system, and it's a slight rotation. So you are ticking an awful lot of boxes here. And your left heel ideally should be extended, but don't worry if you can't manage that. And then very gently think about bringing your tummy in towards your backbone, a millimetre or two. Slide your hands up the left leg and place your right hand behind you and just raise your left arm up to the ceiling and just look at your left thumb. Again, this de-stressing move for the brain. And then lower your left arm, and before we come to the other side, just bend up your left outstretched leg so that your feet or your knees are in a double V. Again, you can have a support under your left buttock. It's just a one of the 5 perfect hip health movements or positions. And then turn towards your right knee lead with the chest, and you can either come forward a little bit, staying up, or you can come down a little bit more, or you can come down as much as you would like. Again, you're stretching out. It's almost like a very soft pigeon on the right side here, which is good for the hip, the right hip in this case. And then think about engaging your tummy in. To walk your hands back, so you come back upright. Hands now go to either side. Perhaps lean back slightly to give you opportunity just to lift your legs. And stretch your legs out. Bounce them, pat them, stretch them, stroke them, whatever you want. Just boosting the circulation in the legs. And then come to hands to either side of you again. Sit up. Just slightly pop your legs in a V, extend your heels. And this time bend your left leg up. Lift your left foot off the floor, and this will, for your back, it's like an upright Panasana, which is having the knee to your chest when you're lying on your back. And then open your knee, left knee to the left. Hands down again just to lengthen the body. Turn slightly towards, face your outstretched right leg. Choose whether you want to just come forward or whether you want to be more classic. You can always bend your elbows, however you want to come forward. We're going to come to the other side. Your hands don't have to rest on your shins. They can come to either side. Again, it's a personal choice. And your the key here is not to try too hard, because then you stretch and strain. So just go to where your body feels comfortable. So we get all the same benefits this side as we did the other side. It's just one of those poses, classic poses, just Janu Sirsasana, head to knee pose, that ticks a lot of boxes. I mean, it's complex in that you're coming forward and rotating at the same time. You're opening your lower lymphatic system. You've even got a little bit of space under your arms, although that's not the main function of this pose. Of course, it gently stretches the lower back, and it's like everything, a forward bend is very useful as one of the back movements, but you've got to be careful not to overdo it. There's like a fine line, particularly when you're seated. So the key is not to overdo things or try too hard. Come to your edge, as they say. Your right heel's extended, that will stretch out your right calf. Now it's your left hip. It's being opened. And then tummy in, just slightly engage your perineum, fraction upwards and inwards, and then slide your hands back up again to come to sitting upright. Take your left hand comfortably behind you and raise your right arm this time and look at your right thumb. And then release the right hand down. And now take your right leg and just bend it so that you're in that double V. And then turn towards your left knee. Again, you're lengthening your body, and you only come forward over your left knee as little or as much as it works for you into this very soft, semi-pigeon almost. If you want to rest your hands, you can place one hand on top of the other and rest your forehead on your stacked fists, that's an option. And you can stay higher or lower, whatever it works for you. And again, you can have a support if you need it onto your right bottom. You'll see that mine's obviously lifted off the ground, whatever feels comfortable. You'll notice here the back of the neck should be what I call long, so it's not all crimped up. The blood can flow smoothly through the neck into the head. Coming forward, as I said, is always calming for the nervous system. And then very gently engage your tummy inwards, perineum slightly inwards. Place your hands on the mat to help you walk back up again. Hands to either side of you, just slightly lean back, and that gives you space, takes the weight off you to be able to extend your legs outward again. You might feel that you need to adjust your bottom by lifting the flesh out from either side. You might want to bounce your legs. And because we do a slight rotation, we're just going to compensate that. You might want to spread your legs, maybe get comfortably apart, and just leading with the chest, just almost drape yourself forward, coming into a straight forward bend. So now the spine is straight. Well, it might be bent, it might be curved, but it's not twisted in any way. It's not rotated, it's just coming forward straight, just to balance the spine. Then very gently bring your tummy inwards and then slide your hands up and come briefly to a cross-legged position, if you can manage that, and then hands on the knees. Breathing in, this is going to be seated cat-cow. Lengthen the chest by lifting, lengthen the body by lifting at the chest, and breathing out, rounding, the chin comes to the chest. As you next breathe in, lengthen the body again, looking forwards or even up, according to your neck, breathing out, rounding. Breathing in, lengthening, and breathing out, rounding. Come to upright and take your left hand to your right knee, right hand behind you. Your fingers can be, it depends on your arm length, can be flat or fingers up. Lengthen the body by breathing in and breathing out. Turn to look over your right shoulder. Each time you breathe in, you might want to lengthen, and each time you turn, you might turn a little bit more. But again, no, just relax, turn. And then breathing in, come back to the centre. Just hold your knees to lengthen the body again. And now your right hand goes to your left knee, left hand behind you. As you breathe in, lengthen the body. And as you breathe out, turn to look over your left shoulder. This turning ability, you'll notice, is something that can get a bit stiff as we get a bit older. And just occasionally you might need to turn when we're driving to look behind us. And then come back to the centre, hands on the knees again. And again, we're just going to compensate for that rotation by leading with the chest and just subtly bringing the hands forward. You don't have to slide them forward very much. It can be a little bit, it can be a lot. Again, that entirely depends on how you feel today. And then tummy in, slide the hands back. And we're going to come onto our hands and knees and repeat that flex, that spinal flexion, by coming into classic cat-cow. So your hands are shoulder width apart and your knees are hip width apart. And just start by dipping the back and looking either along the floor or classically you'd look up and breathing out, rounding. The chin comes to the chest. And breathing, dipping the back, and rounding chin to chest, and dipping the back. And as you round chin to chest, perhaps widen your knees and come to your choice of either bottom towards the heels, arms stretched forward. But having said that, if you want to lift your bottom higher and slide your hands forward so that the elbows come into the ground, you'll come more into a puppy pose. Your head may or may not rest on the ground. And then relax your bottom. So it depends where your body feels that you need the stretch in your back. And if anybody wants a classic child's pose, your bottom is on the heels. And classically your hands, palms are upwards. But again, it's whatever feels good for you. This possibly stretches the lower back more and the arms forward. And more of a puppy pose stretches the upper back. And then very gently think about lifting up slightly. Just connect your hands to the ground and bring your knees perhaps back to hip width apart. And then kneel up and open your palms so that you are opening the shoulders, looking either forwards or looking up. And then head goes upright. And breathing in, just raise your arms, stretch up, stretch your fingers. And breathing out, come back to all fours. Shoulder width apart on the hands, hip width apart on the knees. And just sway your bottom from side to side like a pendulum. And as you're swaying, there's an invitation, as your bottom sways one way, you can look over the opposite shoulder. As you sway the other way, neck turns. If you find that your head and bottom are going in the same direction, that's also fine. Just do what's natural. I always say, if you imagine a fish swimming and you're looking above or down on a fish, they seem to swim or weave in this way. And then coming to all fours again and just testing by tucking your right toes underneath. So as you're stretching underneath the toes, use your hands to support your weight and just come back on the toes as little or as much as you like. The more your bottom comes back, the more you'll stretch under your toes, but it is agony sometimes. So just to where it works for you. And then release forward, tuck your right toes and just then tuck your left toes. And move your bottom back as much as you can cope with, just stretching out. So very good for hay fever, good for allergies and opening the lungs. And then coming back to all fours. And then coming to place your bottom to the side and sit back down again. Come to a cross-legged position ideally. If you prefer to have your legs out, that's fine. Before we come to the ground, I'm going to do a breathwork, mini breathwork. So this is an introduction to something called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. It's a very soft version. So just take your right hand and always drop your thumb down to where it meets the nose starts to flare. If your elbow's hurting by being up, then just drop it, don't strain. And now only breathe for a few breaths through your left nostril. You're breathing in and out through your left nostril, as if your right side doesn't exist. If you're bunged up with hay fever, just slightly loosen off your right thumb. And then just drop your right arm, give it a rest. Just place your hands on your knees and perhaps just a cat-cow before we come to the other side. Maybe a couple of times. And then take your right hand again and take the ring finger and just come to the left nostril, blocking the left nostril. So now you're only breathing through your right nostril. Again, if your arm's hurting, just drop your elbow. It's a very good way to see if, or monitor which side of you is active at the moment. Left or right side, one's always active, the nostrils active or active. It's a way of testing almost where your lung capacity is at. And just very gently drop the right hand, hands on the knees. Just enjoy a few breaths to both nostrils again, and just notice any difference. The breath can often feel clearer, your nose can feel clearer, which kind of goes through to the mind as well. And then before we come totally down to lying on our backs, we're going to come onto our front in something called Sphinx pose. So you're coming onto your elbows and you're looking down. The further you widen your legs, it's up to you, but the more you move your elbows forward, the lower you'll come. If you find that you want to make fists and rest your forehead in really not quite Sphinx, you're in a hardlier Sphinx, then please do that. If you feel that you want to bring your elbows in and just look down at the ground, then that's a more pronounced angle at the lower back. If you are in Sphinx, you can press your elbows down and pull yourself forward a millimetre. That just gives you space along your tummy. But ultimately, you might want to have your elbows wide. 2 fists and rest your forehead on your fist. And then while we're here, just widen your knees slightly. And then lift one foot and then the other foot up to the ceiling. So the soles of the feet are to the ceiling. This is quite nice at the lower back level. If you want to go a step further, you can very gently sway both feet from side to side. So all options. And then you can also circle your ankles again as an option, one way, and then the other way. And then lower your feet to the ground, and you'll feel that your knees are too wide apart, so just tuck your toes and just bring your knees slightly back to be more comfortable. And here, just tuck your toes under Press down on your toes and lift your heels. So you almost feel that someone's pulling your heels away from you. So this is getting in towards sciatica and sciatic nerve, and then just release both legs to the ground, untuck your toes, let your heels drop out to the side, and just wobble your bottom from side to side. This is called SIS stabilizer, sacroiliac stabilizer. It's an emergency kind of back soother. And then just enjoy a couple of breaths doing nothing at all. And then we're very gently going to think about coming onto our backs. So classically, you would slide your hands back to press your hands on the ground, elbows in. But if you really want to be relaxed about things, you can drop your head down, roll to the side, bend your knees up, and come up that way too, whichever works for you. And we're going to come onto our backs. And just start by, once you're on your back, knees bent, feeling that you're comfortable, just hug one knee into the chest and then the other knee into the chest, and then just very gently rock from side to side. So getting the back of the head, and you're rocking across the lower back. So if you've done a lot of driving or a lot of walking, this is really nice to ease out the lower back. And then we're going to circle both hips at the same time. So hug your knees into your chest. You're still holding your knees. Let your arms drift sort of to arm's length. Just separate your knees and then draw a circle with them, meeting up back with your knees hugged into your chest. And just repeat that circle, breathing in, your knees go away from you, part them slightly and just draw a circle or semicircle to your own breath pattern. If you want to focus on your back, then let your hands do the work. If you want to focus on your core, then you would very lightly hold your knees with your hands and let your tummy do the work, which is much harder, but actually more yogic. So again, you choose. If you've got a bad back, it's very nice just to let your hands do the heavy duty circling. And then think about reversing the circle. So can't think now. Your knees are together away from you. Hug both knees into your chest together. Then separate them and circle them up the other way. So basically you're just reversing the circle. So that your rotation of the top of the leg or the femur and the hip socket is balanced, both one way and then the other way. And then hug both knees into the chest and a nod to an inversion here. Just hold the backs of your thighs. I like to clasp my hands for extra support. And then just raise both feet. You can keep your knees bent to the ceiling. And you might find that you very naturally sway a little bit from side to side. You might find you want to keep your legs still. Make sure that the back of your neck's what I call long, so it's not all cricked up. You might want to circle your ankles again one way and then the other. Again, just you choose what works for you. You can do this with your legs up the wall, supported by bolsters under the hips or under the head, wherever it feels comfortable. You can do this with your legs resting over a chair or a sofa, or over a bed if it's low enough. So as it becomes more semi-supine, it's all a form of inversion and very restful for the body. And then hug both knees into the chest. And still holding both knees, let them drift to arm's length. And again, hug both knees into the chest. Just a few times to your own breath pattern. Massaging along the lower lumbar vertebra, or particularly L4 and L5, which is where all the heavy duty movement tends to happen. So it's very releasing for the lower back. And then just a freestyle, you might want to carry on doing that, or you might want to combine it with just slightly rocking from side to side. Or you might like to circle both knees together in one way. That focuses the weight towards the base of the spine, almost onto the sacral area, circling the other way. And then holding underneath the thighs to place one foot and then the other foot back down onto the ground. And just raising your elbows, clasp your head in your hands. And you can either stay like this, your elbows will be open, a bit like butterfly wings, you're just back into the upper lymphatic system. You'll feel the stretch almost along the chest, the bust area. If that's too strong a stretch, then bring your elbows slightly closer together. And in cradling your head, you've got the option of slightly lifting your head off the ground, so your chin will come into your chest and you'll stretch out the back of your neck, almost quite releasing for the neck and head, and then just release your head back down to the ground. You can open your elbows. Just enjoy the stretch across the chest. And then while you're here, just slide your hands out from under your head, place the head on the ground. And you can use the heels of your palms just to place your hands over your head. You're just connecting to your, something called the Sahasrara chakra, so it's your crown chakra. It's where it's believed we connect our consciousness to the outside world. So holding the head can be very releasing, very calming. And then just lower your hands and either place both hands on your tummy, both hands at the heart or just below the chest, or one hand on the tummy, one hand on the chest area. It doesn't matter which hand, just be comfortable. And take a moment to have a thought for the day. You're setting your intention for the day. And think that a couple of times. It's called Sankalpa, setting your Sankalpa in Sanskrit or in yoga. And then just release those thoughts, they've been set. And then we're going to come to a seated position, so you can come up to a seated position, however that works. You might like to hug your knees into your chest and rock from side to side once more. But come gently, not disturbing the peaceful energy we've created. That's not a contradiction in terms, but come to a gentle seated area. Hands on the knees again. Just lengthen the body. Look up. Breathing out, bring your chin to your chest, taking a bow for yourself. Bring your hands to your heart, and thank you.